Hello, dear friends. Hello, good evening. And today we are on another live here on our office, as you can see. So we have a lot of things here. We have a lot of tools, a lot of different things. So we have to organize some things and announcement for you, my dear friends. I have a huge announcement that I will try to stream every single day. I would like to share basically the knowledge that I have and also to promote the already existing videos. Yes, this is the goal, and as much as possible to reach, let's say, 50,000 subscribers. So, yes, this video was not announced, that is true, but the most important thing that I have told that I will stream, yes, about this time frame on the evenings. So I will try as much as possible, if you are not here, daily to upload a video with something new that I have learned and share it with you. So in today's video, I would like to share something very, very important for the diesel engines and the real, let's say, experience that I have recently gained troubleshooting with diesel engines. So I have troubleshoot also previously, but I have to say that uh, our setups of diesel generators are completely different, let's say, from the view of cooling from some other, let's say, small type of vessels. And the most important thing is to know each system, how it is operating. This is the most critical part when you are handling, let's say, system, equipment. You have to know how it working, the principle, how, let's say, suction the water, where it's ended, how it cool. So then it will be much easier to identify and search step by step where is the other point that you have missed, let's say, of checking or reviewing. So the first thing that you have to give attention is that if your engine have enough fuel, when you try, let's say, to start your diesel engine, does your diesel engine has enough fuel? Does it has enough power to start? Let's say it can be air starter. You have to know it is battery starter, air starter, how the engine is starting. And then you need cooling. The first for sure, in order to run safely an engine, you need cooling. How it is cooled? It is air cooled, it is water cooled. Most of diesel engines are water cooled. So since your engine is running, you have to establish the cooling. Is the cooling safe? And I will write here down everything on our dashboard. Okay. So first of all, do I have sufficient fuel to my engine, fuel supply? And a very important thing about the fuel supply, does my fuel are enough for the engine to start and operate in all the capacity of the engine? So the fuel supply itself, it is great. It is a generosity, okay? It is a general thing for the engine. Are my fuel clean? Are my fuel, let's say, um, remove from any bubbles, any air trapped on it? So the fuel supply itself has subcategories. But let's say in generic, okay, fuel supply. Starting air or battery depends how your engine is starting, how it's starting. So you have to check what is the requiring pressure and what is the required voltage on your battery in order to start your generator, the minimum required. The next thing that you have to check is the cooling. Is my cooling enough? It is satisfying because you can have cooling, but it can be partial. So your pump is working. And how to understand that? If you have a small diesel engines which have a impeller. This is the casing, and this is some kind of rubber inside. Can you see it here? Yes. Some of small diesel engines have this kind of pump, which is a rubber. These parts are flexible, and if there is not enough cooling, you just put your hand on top of the cover, and it becomes hot. That means something is going wrong with your pump, or this direction is not adjusted properly, or it's not sealing, or it's touching. So you have to look about, yes, what is the cause on that. And for bigger engines, you have cooling with centrifugal pumps. These pumps are withdraw some of them sea cooling water, sea cooled, and some other are water cooled with fresh water, low temperature, and high temperature. So it can be separated internally inside the engine. So we have cooling, we have starting air, we have fuel supply. Our engine starting, let's say for example, it starts and then for some reason it goes off again. So we have to look about, okay, one of these things probably is not making, or maybe let's say we start the engine but we do not have cooling. So one thing that's happened to us, we have this pump here. Let me show you. So the pump always has a suction point, which can be here, let's say on top, and a discharge point somewhere here. Okay. So as the pump is turning here, as it turns to this direction here, you can see that there is a chamber creating here. This is a chamber. I will specify it with C. So as the pump moves there, it suctions some part of liquid from here and set it here internally. So then it compresses it. This is the next stage. It compresses, and delivers here when it is free, where it is free. So from there, we have escape of our water. And what happened to us? This line was too low, was, let's say the generator was too high, and we always had the problem to keep the water internally in this flexible hose, okay, internally. So when the engine stopped, the hose drained back all the water and lost it. So what you have to do in that case is you have to put a non-return valve, that will keep the water internally here. This is a non-return valve, so it allowed the water passing this way on the top, but it does not allow the water to go the other way. So you have always filled this section here, and when you start your engine, it will be directly supplied with the water. And also a troubleshooting here, excuse me, please set your lights as well. So if you are missing water here, what you do, you disconnect this hose here directly, you pull it back, and you have another hose here from the top, and you supply water with a bottle here. You fill it up, fill it until to the top, and leave it a little bit more because some of the water will end here to the casing, will fill the casing. So at the first start, when you will start, you will have enough water here, and then directly swap this pipe with this pipe, swap them, and you connect the full pipe, and then you can directly start and try again. Yes, I know it is a complicated, let's say, trying to start the engine, but this is happens, yes, in small engines from sailing vessels. Excuse me. But in seagoing vessels, you have most of the time positive pressure because the generators are really low on, let's say, the bottom of the ship. We can say on the hull, you have already enough, about 3 to 4 meters positive pressure, and that create much easier to have positive suction at your pumps. This is a good benefit that the modern vessels have. So yes, many starting problems. One of really common problem is earth trapped in the fuel system. So you have to vent your engine before starting. That is really common. And for sure, for large engines, you have to tear them first. If the engines was, let's say, standstill for a prolonged period of time, you have to first turn them by hand if it's small engines, or if it's, let's say, big engines, you have to set the lubrication and then turn them by a turning gear. But the very important thing is when you turn the engines with the turning gear or by, let's say, hand, in some point you have to see it from the amperage for the turning gear and from the hand that the engine starts and move much easier, because you have lubricate also, because you have forced lubrication, or let's say in case you do not have forced lubrication, you somehow lubricate, let's say with the oiler or something with the same type of oil, and then it starts to turning really freely. You can feel that in huge diesel generators that are installed on the vessels, on the tankers, even that high, that when you turn with the ratchet a entire engine, you feel that it turns much easier when you will make, let's say, 2 or 3 rounds, complete rounds. So be patient. Do not hurry up to start the engine quickly. First observe, and most of the times what I have seen, that if you are hurry too much, you can make more damages than actually the engine has itself. So you do not have to hurry about that a lot. So it's better to check step by step the things, and then you will be, let's say, much better understanding of what is going on. And most of the times we have seen that, yes, we have pressure of time, we have pressure, let's say, to deliver a vessel or to start the engine, but at the end, what this matters is to do safely, the job safely, and also to avoid as much as possible to escalate to another mistakes that we are not ready to repair. Because okay, if we have spare parts, it is easy to repair. But if we do not have spare parts, yes, it can be time consuming. It can be difficult to gather that spare parts, or even to source them if the engines are too old as well. So we have to be really careful in that case, and start from these 3 easy steps in order to determine, okay, do we comply with that, how we check that, and then searching for the next thing. Another thing, yes, that we have found, it is a worn belt. The belt was not in good condition. You can trace some leakages as well. And what else you can trace? And very important thing is that wherever the engine is, that you have always a good set of filters on board. That is really important thing. That you have your fuel filters, you have your lube oil filters. It does not matter only for the maintenance itself, but sometimes things can happen if you are not well maintained. Let's say your engine, you are exposed to different kind of risk. So you can be exposed, let's say, of um, some type of failures, which is created by the degradation of the oil. So the filters will become much dirty faster if the oil replacement, timing, and maintenance of the engine is not performed as required. So the maintenance itself and the operating the engines within the designed specification of the manufacturers, it's really important in order to keep that proper maintenance schedule with hours, with running hours, and avoid the biggest problems that can be created for that. Because when you are exposing an engine or an equipment to some operating conditions without meeting the proper maintenance, then you are going to the unknown. So it is not a controlled environment anymore. It is not under control, it is not under supervision. So then you can expect failures that previously you never expected. And that's why, because we are um, maintaining the engines for so long, we are documenting the temperatures daily, reviewing the temperatures daily, observing the temperatures daily. In some way, we are like, let's say, um, not only technicians and maintenance team and operating team, we're also viewing how the equipment and the machinery actually behave in such difficult environment, let's say sea environment, yes, and seagoing environments are the most difficult environments because it is entirely a changing environment, both from the view of climate change, because as you traveling across the globe, the climate also changes. It reflects also on your equipment as well, and the different operating conditions. Yes, it's directly affected. So yes, troubleshooting can be different, can be also starting problems, and that also can be expand also to mistakenly adjustment of the sequence as well, of the starting sequence of the engine. So when you are going to the control room, you have to check also, okay, what I have said there. Have I said, let's say, in the remote starting? Have I said, let's say, manual starting? And you have to know also your equipment, your electrical equipment, and your automation, what failures this equipment can produce if you are fail, let's say, following the sequence and all the things. Also, very important thing in the maintenance schedules, that not only the mechanical part is being kept, let's say, in good condition, but also the electrical part, because in nowadays most of the engines are electronically controlled, have a lot of starters, a lot of equipment in the board. So all the things needs also to be care by a lot, because it's not a engine by itself only. It is a diesel electrical engine. It is a combination of two factors, and that's why we have to be really close. We have to understand of each behavior of each temperature and feel that something, let's say, it is above the operating conditions, and highlight it directly. Because when you highlight the things when they are at the beginning, you are able to deter them easily and also to resolve them much easier in front. So yes, that is what I have seen also on board. Yes, when you are observing the things, you are testing the things, you're observing them, and you really start to understand how the engine is performing and for what reason it's performing that. So you're always questioning. And nowadays, you're really lucky for the next generations of engineers. And I believe, I truly believe that you can reach a much higher potential and you can do a more interesting things, excuse me, from the development of both troubleshooting, maintenance, and also operating, when we introduce also new types of, let's say, understanding both the engines and better planning as well. But this can expand to all kind of, let's say, sectors. It is not limited only to one sector in engineering. We can expand that to, let's say, the trading, to the commercial parts. We can expand it to operational parts. In every part of shipping, we can combine it. It's not limited in engineering only. But what I believe that engineers, because engineers' mindset, it's always troubleshooting, questioning. Why is that? It's a little bit more flexible on the way of thinking and approach. And that is what I like. Okay, we have done this. What we can do else in order, let's say, to make it work or to repair it and fix it in a better way than it was before, in order to prevent, let's say, future breakdowns, future, let's say, expenses, and all the things. So yes, this is the goal. The goal is to keep a live stream daily. This time about maybe a little bit earlier. So I will try as much as possible to share things that are truly matter, that you will be able to use them, and for sure to change your view, how you see the things about the engineering. Yes, that is a really, really fascinating world because the more you learn, the more you understand that, the more you understand, yes, how many possibilities you have in order to, yes, optimize it and make it better than before. So the approach really matters. The approach really matters. The attention that you are giving, it really matters because it is like a part that you are living there. Okay. And excuse me. And what was my goal also? That when I leave, let's say, the vessel, I deliver a product which is in such condition, which is operational. It is going forward. And we were working in the vessels 12 years old, 13 years old, and there was in much better conditions than new buildings in such great conditions. Yes, I have images. I have plenty images also in this channel shared with the community already in the community tab. You can take a look from my years on the vessels or on board. So I have stayed mostly on the tanker ships, and my total service it's about, yes, 9 years since I was apprentice, third engineer, second engineer, and yes, I have finished my career in the senior roles, passing all the steps to the office knowledge also as well. So yes, it's multidiscipline knowledge, which is really great for you that you can have this kind of questions daily, and you have a professional which is really like to answer questions, because what I learned that from the questions you also learn and you understand, you are able to understand your level of knowledge. If there is no questions, you're not able to figure out what is your level. So the questions by themselves will level up you further. So that's why you have always the questioning and search and search and search. So you can see here, I have even books from my previous, let's say, organization, which was already old, but they were given to me. These books were given to me. Let me show you. So they have a lot of. This is for crude oil. Okay, this is for crude oil, and they give me a lot of different books. So it says here for static electricity, and sometimes yes, I can read this one. I can read and also optimize my understanding. I can question also the let's say the Gemini as well. And you are lucky. I say as always, you are lucky. You are very, very lucky because you have all these kind of tools. And yes, still the tools expanding. Still the tools expanding. You can see here tools, real tools for checking the pressure, micrometers. This is the tool that you know that I have. It is a spark plug tool. You put here spark plugs and you test them. So a lot of tools, and yes, use your tools. That's all. That's all, my dear friends. Yes, with the questions, as I always say, with the questions, it is much better for sure. Yes, with the questions, let's start. Let's say a Q&A session. Would you like, let's say, to do lives every day? Very interesting to see as from which country. I have seen my statistics. I have seen that the first country that is watching is from India. Next country is Philippines. Then it's United States, and then Greece, I believe, from the statistics. Yes, this is the overall statistics. Yes, this is great. This is really, really great. And yes, we can do a lot of things. Yes, we can do a lot of questions. Very interesting. Yes, from which countries you are joining today? From which countries you are joining? And if you have any questions, yes, about the troubleshooting, yes, that will be really interesting. Excuse me. It is 9:51, almost 10 o'clock. Shall we end the stream or not? And also, yeah, join my LinkedIn profile. There you will see most of the posts that I'm doing. I just refine them with the AI, with the Gemini. But the thought is because it's not my native language, the thought remain the same. Everything, yes, remain the same. Let's see, let's see, let's see, let's see. Okay, here we are. Where is the live stream? I lost the page of the live stream. Okay, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Should be somewhere here. Okay, here we are. Let's see. This is my LinkedIn profile where you can see my latest posts as well. I posted here on the chat. Hi, I'm marine engineer. Could you please talk about fuel timing adjustment in four-stroke engines? For diesel engines, what we had, the fuel timing, it is everything regulated from the fuel pump. So the timing, yes, it's everything from there, from the fuel pump. Maybe if it is, let's say, some kind of electronic engines, which is controlled by governor, yes, then the timing will be adjusted by the electronic signal, when it will give the signal and when the valve will be open. So it is completely different, yes. But the timing itself, so in order to meet, let's say, the efficient production of the power, you have to specify exact injection timing and exact compression. So all that should be in line exactly. For the reason you do not like to be early or too advanced, then you lose power. But all the things, it is visible through the exhaust gases. Your exhaust gases will high or low. It is visible, yes, how your engine behavior. You will hear it also from any knocking. You will hear also on balance from the vibration. You can monitor that one. So there is a lot of different indicators that will show that your engine is not working in the resonance that it should be working. But the fuel time and adjustment, yes, it is a really critical. It is a really fragile part, because what can happen uh, from the view of diesel generators that we are operating previously, there is some shims that if you lose them, you basically change the timing of the engine. So the injection, if you lose some of the shims, can be earlier or can be delayed. So you have to be really careful what you remove, how you remove, because I have seen, yes, people mix them or change from another location to another, or completely miss them, and then the engine is unbalanced. It is unbalanced. The timing change as well. So I have a full video on, if you go to the diesel generator playlist, you will see the full time adjustment, how we do it step by step, with all the images from the actual engine that we have adjusted. And that's why it's very important when you perform such jobs on the diesel engines. You have to document everything, you have to photograph everything. So in the event you would like to revise them and see them, you have some evidence and you are able to remember them. Okay, you can remember these things and you say, okay, I have put it there, or it was there. You have to carefully measure the shims itself with a micrometer or with a caliper, with a accurate caliper. Guys, where is your likes? Where is your likes? Please, guys. We are 5 people and we have only 2 likes. Where is your likes? Come on. Come on. Just press that button. Press that button. So for diesel generator, I have complete overhauling. I believe the only part which is missing, we didn't overhaul the main bearings of the diesel engine generator. We overhaul piston, connecting rod. So yes, that one, it is, let's say, like a normal cleaning of the engine. But I think that it's quite a good job, because most of the part and most of the, let's say, running hours that outreach, specifically that let's say time frame, it is, this is the parts that are actually, let's say, worn the most. But you know what, I'm thinking that at the end, yes, we have to follow the instructions of the maker. That is true, because the maker, what he does, he know exactly each part. Let's say this is a pump, okay, this is a pump here, this is a small pump, you can see the impeller inside, so I can turn it. and he knows exactly for which part how much time it will stay alive, we can say, or it will work. And then from this time, yes, he says, okay, it has plus minus, let's say, 10 operating hours. It's also operating conditions that plays a huge role, how long it will be. So it's all that thing, yes, it's all that thing. Thank you very much, Mr. V. Thank you. Yes, shims, yes, on the fuel pump roller, yes. So look here, this is a pump, okay? This is the pump. Here we have the suction, and here we have the discharge. So always this is a centrifugal pump. It always deliver the water in the periphery. This is the periphery. So yes, the components the maker knows. And for this pump, let's say, for example, you see I have two pumps. So what I did, I found some of the spare parts. I will change the bearings here. I will check what else is required. And I will repair these two pumps, so I will have two spares of them ready to be used. But the maker, he knows, yes, he knows exactly the time. He really knows, yes. And most of the times, yes, it's really, really critical and crucial to follow that timing. Because when you will open at that time, what you have to check, okay, you have to think first about that, okay, the maker told me to open. What I have to check? What is required for me to be checked? Because there's, for some reason, he told me to open that engine and review it. So I have to check the wear, how much wear, basis on the conditions that I operate the engine. Thank you, Mr. V. Since 2015, wow, since 2015, that's really, really amazing. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. And that's really important thing, and I have seen that. Yes, it is really, really says, because one thing that I have understand that why he said this timing, because he said this timing in order to make you to overhaul the engine and keep it in the highest possible performance. This is what you will achieve with this maintenance. You will keep the engine at the highest possible performance as it is new. This is the goal. And this is the reason why it's specified this timing, these time frames. Yes, you can extend, let's say, the overhauling like a piston. I have a piston also with me here. Let me show you a small piston, okay? This is a small piston here. Very, very small piston. It has the piston guide here. Let me check. Can I put it out? Piston pin, okay? Piston pin. It is here, okay? This is the piston pin. So the running hours for this component has been already reached. We have reached. It is fine. You can inspect it, let's say, by your checkings and all the things. You can see the surfaces. Sometimes also it's very, very necessary to have a micrometer in order to check any deficiencies. But this part, probably, it can serve, let's say, the double time, but it will not perform to the maximum. It will not perform to the maximum, yes. You will have loss of power, you will have loss of, let's say, performance. So that part will not perform anymore to the maximum what is stated. But when you follow the running hours, yes, you will be at the top at that time. So after a chemical cleaning of air cooler, the scavenging temperature is higher than usual. What could be the reason? What can happen in that case? When you are introduced, let's say, chemical cleaning, what can happen? It can create a reaction with the fooling that you already have, and it can affect, it can also expand that dirty and create blockage, or it can, let's say, solidify, it can react because it's chemical. What you have to do first, it is applying that chemical in the small surface to see how it reacts before introducing huge amount in the air cooler. My thinking is that the air cooler, it has cells inside. So if you have, let's say, a dirty air cooler already, so it creates blockages here. Let's take another one. Let's take another one. Let's take this one. It can create blockages. So when you introduce chemical, if the chemical, let's say, it's not fit for purpose, it can create much higher blockage. So, you know, when you introduce chemicals, and in our level, these things are not always tested to have the exact results. And that's why, yes, it can create higher temperatures, it can create blockage, it can create a different kind of substances, a different kind of reactions. But you can check that because the scavenging port are accessible. So as this is, let's say, the air cooler, you have some access points here, here, or here, and you can check from different sides. You can check from inlet, from outlet, to determine how the chemical affected your air cooler. Or what you can do, if you have a spare air cooler, you can completely replace it and check what have changed. And then you can put this cooler, let's say, for another type of chemical or for another type of cleaning. If you face, let's say, the same, so you have put a new cooler and you face the same issue. So you have two generators facing same issue, correct? If I understand, if you have two generators facing the same issue, so you have some problem with the cooling, because as you see here, you have these two generators here. One moment, this I have to change, I have to throw it. So you have generator number 1 and generator number 2. Okay, you have two generators. Most probably they have the same cooling supplied from the freshwater system, if it's our that is the case. So there is also some three-way valves here that are temperature adjusted. Probably it can be from here, because these temperature adjustments are regulated by the pressure, if I'm not wrong, of the pump. So if your pressure is low, you have to, yes, you have to check your pressure. You have to check how this valve is opening. Is it opened, or does it follow, let's say, the temperature increase of the engine, and it starts to operate? Because this is the valve here. This is the three-way valve. This is going to the engine, probably, so recirculating inlet, outlet, and recirculating. So you have to check the indicator here, if it's moving or not, if it's giving the proper signal to the valve and activating it. So all the things, yes, you have to check. You have to check the pressure, if the pressure is correct. If your cooling temperature is within the range, you have to check also that. If this three valve it's operating or not. And very, very good tool that I'm always share, and I say that this is the best tool that you need to have on board. This is the one. This is the FLIR tool, which you can attach to your mobile. I have resolved many problems. Okay, and you can directly see how your fluids are flowing to your generator, because this is a infrared thing. So you just put on your phone here. It is costing, that is true. You just connect it here and you go here to your program. Let me download it because it's too old already since I use it, but I'm using that. I'm using to resolve some problems. You can see how the fluid, from where they're flowing. So if you don't know, let's say, for example, a let's say diagram, okay, or you don't know how your fluids are flowing, you directly can see the thermal pattern. Let's say, to give you an example, let me to give you an example. I will switch on that. Let me bring here, yes, to make it more interesting. Let me bring here to give you, and this is also part of troubleshooting as well. This is a good part of troubleshooting as well. So let's say you have similar, let's say, this cooling line. You have this cooling line. So you're facing, this is your diesel generators, okay? This is your, I have to, tomorrow I will buy this new, so we can draw much better, okay? Generator number 2, and you have your piping here. You have pipes going there. So what you do, you switch your device here. Yes, now it's switching on. There's a button on, and it says, yes, wait a little bit, and we'll initiate. So this is what you will see. There is a temperature indication here. It says 31 degrees. And you can see it shows my hand, okay? My hand, it has much higher temperature than the environment around. So basically what you will see the fluids flowing. You can see that it's already feel, let's say, the difference of the temperature. Look, I will put my hand on the board and you will see how the temperature will be left there. Okay, and this is basically, you will able to see how the fluids are flowing. You can see the difference temperature, a low temperature water, high temperature water. So everything will be visible there. And it's much easier to determine things. It resolves a lot of problems. Also electrical things you can see. You can see also hydraulics, everything, fuels, whatever. Yes, it's easy to determine. That's one of the best tools that you can use to troubleshooting. Overheating, let's say overheating, you can check. And also one important thing is that if you do not have thermometers, let's say, for example, you are going to the vessels that are lacking of thermometers or missing the thermometers, you can see that and you can check the temperatures directly. So I will switch off that and put it in the case. And also you can, what you can make also as well, when you're going on the vessel, you just go to one equipment or another, you make some documentation, a file with all the profile temperatures, the inlet, the outlet of the engines or equipment, and then you store it, let's say, on your file. And then if something changes, you know that, okay, I have measured that equipment and I have differences in the temperatures and the way how the system is operating or the engine. So then you can understand that something is going wrong, something has changed, the range have changed, and it's much easier. Yes, it's much easier to resolve. Okay. Guys, yes, guys, have been for 50 minutes. Yes, that is really great. Yes, 50 minutes. Yes, that's great. And yes, I really like when we participate. It's show that we are interested. We have questions. No matter what question, there is no bad question. There is always great question. You can see just from your questions, just 2 or 3 questions, how far we went. And this is basically why I'm saying this is the reason why to create the lives and as much as possible, yes, we keep an interaction on that and we learn together. We learn together and we develop together. We find new things, we share new things. Yes, that's really fantastic. And as Mr. V said, he following since 2015. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. I'm really glad that we have made such a great community that the material really helps a lot of people. And yes, that's really amazing. That's really amazing part of the community, which I really, really like it. That's amazing. And I believe, yes, we can do more. We can develop more. Further, you can see even at my home here, I have micrometers. I have engines around, air compressors here. Let's see. This is an air compressor. So it's a tiny engine room here around. It is a small engine room with a lot of tools around. Kata. Yes, it is really, really crazy. Okay, my dear friends. Okay, thank you very much. Yes, tomorrow I will be tuned. Tomorrow, yes, I will be tuned. And I'm waiting from you also to be tuned. Maybe we will make it a little bit earlier, but I believe yes, we have done something really great also today, and yes, that's the way to progress. It's not required to be done, let's say, in one way. All we will do it step by step, and also as the channel also have shown, we are doing things step by step. We are learning, and we are going forward. Thank you very much for your time and your interest. See you tomorrow. Thank you very much. Bye bye.